I'm Jodie Collard and I'm from South Australia, and I was on Lego Masters Australia Season 2 and my partner was Jen, and it aired in 2020. So I started Lego Masters. It was a strange situation. I didn't think I would be on it at all, and I was exhibiting at an event for the Southern Bricks Lego user group, and they had a scout because the first season had already been on, and she'd come around, she was just talking to people, and she came over and looked at it was my first exhibit build, and she said, "Oh, that's cool, can I have your name and number? We're looking for people to potentially apply for Lego Masters Season 2. And I laughed at her and I said, no, I'm not good enough to be on something like that. And she said, "Oh no, you'll be right." And so I said no anyway. She walked away and she came back again and asked me the same thing. So I just gave her my number and didn't think any more of it. And then roll forward like a month or so, and I got a call, and they said, "Oh, can we have an interview, like a face-to-face Skype interview?" And I said, nah, it's going to be too hard. I homeschool my kids, I can't. And they said, "Just do the interview and just see how you feel." So I did it. Long story short, I did all that. And then I got an email to say they wanted me to come into the city at a special location and do a live build. So everybody was in there that they wanted. So there was, I think, 20 of us from South Australia in there at that time. And then after you'd done your build, they asked a certain amount of people to stay back and have an interview with producers, which I did. I was one that got asked to stay back, and then after that I was literally walking out of the hotel and they rang me and said, "We want you to come back for the psychologist interview." So okay. And then I didn't hear anything for a couple of months, and then all of a sudden I got a call and said, "You've done it, you're on." It was weird, strange, never expected it. Yes, I would. I think it'd be really different the second time round. My confidence since being on the show has grown massively. I didn't have any confidence whatsoever. Very low self-esteem and everything else. So I think going back into it, I've learnt a lot more in my building techniques, and I think I'd cope a lot better with the pressure and have more confidence in what I'm doing. So a lot of it wasn't shown, but we used to have banter in between filming and during filming against the contestants. Josh and I had races on little boards that were in one of the episodes, and we were racing around on those, and yeah, there's lots of fun things that happen behind the scenes. So that's one. Two would be the people that I met. We were a really close group by the end of it. We all still keep in touch now. That was two. And three was just the experience of being able to be there and see the brick pit and talk to Brickman and Hamish, and it was a surreal experience. So they were my three favourite things. I think being by myself, going over there, not knowing a single person, was probably one of the hardest things that I'd had ever done. So that was really, really hard. I cried a lot. I wouldn't choose any of my family members because we'd argue too much. I think I'd choose a previous contestant to partner up with, and that's hard. There has never been a girl team to win it before, so I would maybe choose Fleur. So one was going to a place by myself and not knowing anyone. That was really hard. That was one. Two, being away from my family. That was really hard. And three, I think the pressure that you're under when you're in there. That's quite hard, and the cameras in your face is so daunting. Like now, like this one here and this one here. Okay, so my two favourite builds that Jen and I did together was, number one was Star Wars. I really loved our Star Wars ship that we built, which was a Rey's Scavenger. And then the second one would have had to have been the Polaroid camera, where we had to face off against Jay and Stani and build that. So we were really proud of our Polaroid camera, and yeah, Star Wars one. And if I had to choose a favourite build from somebody else for the whole season, which is really tough because there was so many, I would have to say in the finale build, Andrew and Damien's final build that they did was like a big arena, and it was like mechs fighting off against each other, and yeah, it was incredible, and the amount of detail that was in it was great. Do I think I should have won LEGO Masters? No. Hands down, no. The amount of talent and the level that the other guys had compared to me, who's only just starting out at building, no, I do not think that we should have won LEGO Masters. The final three teams that were in it were 100% deserving to be there.
If you did do LEGO Masters again, do you think you'd have more skill to do builds that you did previously better this time, or not? Like especially the mermaid?
What's wrong with my mermaid? Okay, so yeah, I've got a lot more skills with things. I even know the names of some blocks now because I didn't know half the names of the blocks on the show. I just say I want this thing with the little piece on it. But now I know what the pieces are, like snot bricks and jumper plates and all those kind of things. And I do have more skills, and I would be able to do the challenges better than what we did the first time round, absolutely. And I don't know why you're paying out my mermaid, but I know I got eliminated on the mermaid. You don't need to remind me, thanks for that. I liked my mermaid, his hair was
Was there anything bad about coming out of LEGO Masters?
I think majority of the LEGO Masters stuff is positive, except social media. There's a lot of trolls out there. I got trolled and was called everything from personal messages to you're fat and ugly and disgusting and shouldn't be on TV. And then you get constant ridicule from people, and people expect you to build all the time at LEGO shows like you did on the show, but reality is we don't have brick pits in our homes. I don't have the time or the money to do it. So you get a lot of people whispering and talking behind your backs and that kind of stuff. I found probably one of the hardest things to try and cope with and deal with.
Hey, it's Damien here. What's the most challenging part of LEGO Masters for me? It would be the time pressure. I like to take my time building, and being on the show, that was the hardest thing for me, was having to do it on a schedule.
I think there are a lot of difficult things about going on LEGO Masters. I think having to learn a lot of new techniques, worrying about what it would be like to be on television, national television, and also, am I good enough to do this, to actually be on this show? But I think the most difficult thing was just being away from my family, being away from my kids, being away from my wife, and spending a lot of time away. It was awesome to be there with Stani, but it was a big undertaking to be away from your family for so long.
The hardest part about being on LEGO Masters was leaving the friends behind as soon as we got knocked out, because all we wanted to do was be there and be part of the community, and we had to go home. So that was definitely the hardest part.